Castellano, gramática, los verbos. Verbos regulares al presente. Alright, so this chart over here shows the verbs, verbos al presente, the verbs at the present time. So the verbs can finish with AR, ER, IR. Alright, so a verb ends with this, one of those. And then the pronombre, the subject, is always yo for I, tú for you, informal, él with an accent for he, ella, she, usted is you, one person that you don't know, formal. And then you have nosotros or nosotras, we being all most masculine, and here only women. When several women talk and say we, they use nosotras. Same for vosotros, vosotras. It's you talking to several people, and then it's you, they masculine, they feminine, and ustedes, it's you formal plural. Okay, I know it's a little complicated, but it's not that complicated. All right, here I show exactly how does the verb ends. So when the verb ends the same way, they're in orange. So you see that at present, yo, all the verbs end with o. We will show examples later. Then for you, there's always a S at the end. So this is why I've put S at every single type of verbs that there is. All right. Then for ER, IR, it's the same. It's A. And for the verbs in ar, it ends with a. It's pretty simple because it looks like the termination. All right. Then something you have in common for we, you always have mos at the end. And then you have the letter of the termination. So ar, amos. Hemos. Ir, imos. All right? So this letter over here shows the same. All right? Okay. Then you've got vosotros, you guys, right? It always ends with E with an accent S. See? And then you have a for this verb here, termination, E for this one, and as there is a E, you don't repeat the E's, so there's only one. So those are pretty simple to remember, okay? It's complicated, but in the end, it's not that complicated. And then for they, masculine, they, feminine, or ustedes, which is you, plural. So several people that you don't know, all right? So you always have an N at the end. It's the plural. So always an N. It's in blue. And then you've got same for ER, IR, all right? And you've got N for those two forms. And then for the verb in AR, you got an. All right? So let's see the examples. First, we are going to use the most used verb in Spanish, which is ser or estar. There's two verbs to say to be. All right? So ser is used for something permanent. We're going to see examples afterwards. Estar is used for something non-permanent or a state of mind or, all right, so let's see examples. All right, so, soy español. Eres japonesa. Es una mujer. Son mujeres. All right, so it's she's a woman, Okay, a woman, you have to say una mujer. And when there is several, it's different. You got to say son because it's several. And then you don't say unas. You say son mujeres. It's a gender. Okay. Es un hombre, son hombres. Somos japonesas. So that's when we is used by several women saying we are Japanese. And then you got estoy, estar. So estar is for a state. So you can be happy, but not all the time. You can be tired, cansada, not all the time. So it's just a moment where you feel like that. Está durmiendo. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Estoy contento. All right. If it's a woman, she would say estoy contenta. All right. Here I am using for you informal. Estás cansada. It's a guy or a woman talking to a woman. All right. So that woman says cansado. If you're talking to a man, whether you're a man or a woman, you say estás cansado. So for example, you would talk to me saying estás cansado. All right. And then you've got an action that you are doing right now. Está durmiendo. All right. He or she's sleeping. So when you say sleeping or sitting or verbs like that, it's not an adjective. So you don't have to, you always end it up like this. You don't use feminine, you don't use masculine. All right. So, está durmiendo. Está means he, she, or you formal. Okay. So if you talk to someone that his eyes are closed, you say, está durmiendo. It means, are you sleeping? All right. And it's the you formal. Estamos de pie. So, de pie means standing, on foot, on foot. Estamos de pie. And then you got están sentados. So, sentados means you're talking about several people. They are sitting. They, if you say sentados, means at least they're a male, maybe several males, we don't know, and maybe several females, we don't know. But at least there is two people, and at least one of them is a male. So you use sentados. Están sentadas would be when you're looking at a whole bunch of women, girls that are sitting. All right? Now, I'm just going to use ser, to be. All right. This is for something I make you remember that if you say soy español, it means I am Spanish. It is not something that you're changing because you're born with a nationality and you stay that nationality. All right. So normally what you do is you don't say that because when you say soy, it means yo soy. So the Spanish maybe are a little lazy. Not really, but depends. So when you say soy, you say soy española. You can say yo soy española. It's all right. But usually Spanish people say soy española. Soy japonesa. All right? I am. Then you got eres for tú. It's when you are addressing someone that you know. All right? It's informal. So eres japonesa. Are you Japanese? Right? And you can answer sí, soy japonesa, for example. Él, ella, usted. When you don't know the person, you have to say es japonés. Is he Japanese? Right? All right. And then when you are using for nosotros or nosotras, you use somos. Somos japoneses. So we use we, and if there's at least one guy and several people, you say we are Japanese. Somos japoneses. If you're talking, a whole bunch of women are talking together, there's no male, you say somos japonesas. Alright, so Japanese will change gender only if all the women are including themselves, or if there's a mix, you have to leave it masculine plural. Somos japoneses, or somos japonesas. Alright? Sois, alright, when you're talking to several people. And then son, alright, so you've got son for plural, and it's also when you have several people, okay, or ustedes when there's several people you know or you don't know. So this is people you may know, this is people you don't know, alright? Alright, so estar is used when it's something that is not permanent. Estoy cansado. I am tired. A male saying that. Estoy cansada for a female saying she's tired. Alright? I am tired. Alright. So, for example, you can say estoy en España. I am in Spain. Maybe I'm not always in Spain. Maybe I travel. Maybe I am from Belgium. Maybe I'm from Japan. Maybe I'm from Thailand, whatever. But if I'm staying right now in a country, as I say, estoy en España. In your case, you would say estoy en Fukuoka, Japón. Alright? So you've got estoy for I am. Estás, right? You remember that at the end, you always have a S, right? As it's estar, then here it's a A, alright? Same here. There's a A because it's estar with a A, alright? The only thing that is different is estoy, okay? Sometimes it just finishes with O, and sometimes it finishes with OY, alright? Estamos, so at the end you've got amos because it's the A here, alright? Estáis, so you know that at that, for vosotros, vosotras, they always end up with IS, sorry. And here, you've got to leave an A when it's an A at the verb, estáis. And here, they always end up with an N, but you say están with an A because there's an A over here, alright? So, this is about the chart that I showed you just before, alright? So I'm going to make a dialogue. Alright, so now we have examples with ser and estar, alright? Soy español. ¿Eres española? No soy española, pero soy japonesa. So, I'm a guy. I'm saying I am Spanish. Are you Spanish? To someone I know, it's informal. Are you Spanish? And you respond, no, I am not Spanish. So española, because you're a woman. Pero soy japonesa. Okay? So japonesa, because you're a female and you're alone. Somos franceses. Are we French? So franceses, it's plural because somos. Are we French? Okay. Somos franceses. That means that there should be at least one male and another person can be a male or a female. Doesn't matter. Somos franceses? No. Eres francés, pero soy japonesa. Alright, so are we French? I'm asking you. As you're a female, you say no, you are French. That's the masculine way of saying French. The feminine way would be francesa. Pero soy japonesa. So japonesa, just like before, you are a female, so you say japonesa. ¿Eres una mujer? No soy una mujer. Soy un hombre. Alright, so It's not a normal question, but are you a woman? No, I am not a woman. I am a man. All right. Normally it should be obvious, maybe with the voice on the phone. All right. But so una mujer. All right. And mujer is a woman and hombre is a man. All right. Now estar. Estoy sentado. ¿Estás sentada también? So I am saying to you, I am sitting. And this means that I am is a male because it's sentado. All right? If I would be a female, I would say estoy sentada. All right? And then I ask you, ¿estás sentada también? Are you also sitting? That's also. Also sitting? No estoy sentada. Estoy de pie. All right, so you're female, so you say, I am not sitting, I am standing. No estoy sentada, estoy de pie. ¿Están cansados? Are you guys tired? No estamos cansados. Estamos bien. So, we are not tired, okay? And this, when you say cansados, it's because there's at least one male and several people. We don't know if it's male or female. If they would be only female, están cansadas, all right? So the gender would follow. But we need all women to ask that. Otherwise, if there's at least one guy, cansados, all right? ¿Está Aruka triste? Is Aruka sad, all right? So it's like she. Está she. Is she sad? So you could está triste, showing to Aruka, for example. You don't say the name, you show with your finger. But if I cannot see Aruka and I say está Aruka triste, is Aruka sad? All right? And you respond, Aruka no está triste. Está contenta. Aruka is not sad. She is happy. All right? So, está triste. All right? Contenta. And if it's a woman, you say contenta. A girl, a woman, you say contenta. If it's a guy, you say está contento. All right? But triste stays the same if it's a masculine or feminine. All right? All right. So now I'm going to split the verbs that are regular. So we've seen a chart before. Now we're going to see full examples. I'm going to go a little faster now on the verbs ending with ar. Now we're talking about comprar, which is to buy, the verb comprar. So the root is always the same, right? And then you've got the terminations like in the chart. So here we don't come back on that. You already know what it is, okay? You've got compro, and it's a o because it's the first person, yo. Then tú, it's compras. Compras. And so there's a because there's an a over here. Very simple. Compra is also a because it's comprar. Compramos. So you remember that all the verbs end with mos, and then you give the letter of the verb. It's a, so it's amos. Compramos. Then here all the verbs para vosotros, vosotras ends with is, and you add the letter according to this. Comprar is a, so you leave the a over here. Compran. All right, so it's an N at the end, and you've got an A because there's an A. So the verbs regular that are the present are pretty simple. I'm going to give another example, enseñar, all right, to teach. So you've got the same root, it stays the same because it's regular, and you got the same termination, o, as, a, amos, ais, an, all right? Estudiar, okay, to study. So you've got the same root and also same termination over here. Preguntar, okay, you got the same root, and then you've got same termination over here. So it looks the same. You only have to know how to do the terminations, and then for the regular verbs, it's pretty easy to reproduce. All right. Now you got verbs that are irregular. Verbos irregulares in ar. All right. So for example, you have dar, to give. So here you only have one letter that is similar, so it's pretty different. The only thing is everything looks the same except for the yo. And at the end, it's doy. All right. Instead of o, it's doy. All right. Pensar. The root is going to be different according to the temps. So you got piens for all the temps except for those two. All right. So it's very irregular, this one. It's pienso, piensas. All right. So, but the termination is the same. A, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. It's always the same. But the root is changing. All right. It's changing over here. It loses the I here. It loses it. Also here. Now, verbos regulares en er. So it's the verbs ending with er that are regular. Okay. So you have comer, to eat. Okay. And you have como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. So you see the O is the same. You remember the chart. All the verbs regular have the same termination with the O. So the root stays the same. And then you've got O, you got S because you got an A. So it's S, always S at the second person saying tu, you, the informal one, all right? When you are saying he, she, or when you're talking to someone, you, that is formal, you put the A because there's an A over here, all right? Then all the verbs always end up with a mos, all right? But it takes the letter of the verb. So comemos, hemos. Then you've got is for all the verbs the same, and you will have coméis. There's an A with an accent because there's an A over here, all right? And you got comen, all right? Because there's an A, so you got the A over here. You've got beber, to drink, okay? Same root, all right? And same termination over here. Nothing changes. O, es, e, hemos, eis, en. Verbos irregulares en er. The verbs traer, okay? And there, this is different because you have at the first person, you say traigo. So the end is the same. It finishes with ER, so it's O, S, E, hemos, eis, en. This is the same, but the root is changing. So you've got at the first person, traigo. All right? And then the rest is the same root. So you got that different. So it's irregular because of that. Then you got tener, to have. All right? And here it's the same, more or less, than the one before. This one goes like tengo. So at the end it's O, S, E, hemos, eis, en. But the root changes for yo, for I, tengo, okay? It says with an I, and then only for those two here, it loses the I, right? Tenemos, tenéis, okay? Verbos en ir. The root stays the same except for the E that appears over here, right? and the termination stays the same. You've got O, like every verbs at the present, S, because for ER and IR it stays the same over here, and then you change the I, transform into an E, servimos, servis. So here you've got the end with IS, and normally you have the letter of the verb. Since it's an I, you don't repeat the I over here, so it says servis, right? Venir. So here it says vengo, so the root is different, okay? Vienes. So, but the end is the same, O-S-E, imos, is, N. But the root is changing over here. It takes the I over here. It loses the I over here, okay? And it keeps the I over here. So, vengo de España. So if I come to Japan, I will say at the toll, I would say at the airport, vengo de España. I come from Spain, sorry. I come from Spain. Vienes de Fukuoka, Japón. Are you coming from Fukuoka, Japón? All right. And then you got viene, venimos. So if you're talking with a whole bunch of people, venimos de Japón. We are coming from Japan. If I talk to several people, I will say, venís de Japón. Are you coming from Japan? And vienen, it's when you're talking to several people formal. You formal for several people. And I ask you and your family, if I don't know you, I say, vienen de Japón. Seguir, to follow, okay? Sigo. So you see at the first yo, there is a different root, all right? And then here, all the time, there is an I here, at tú, él, ella. It loses the I over here, and it gets back. So see, those ones are different, and this one is different, all right? All right, this is the end of that lesson. I know it's a little complicated. I will add some more verbs, but if you need to know at least a few verbs to make sure that in a conversation you're able to say something about yourself, about somebody else. If somebody asks a question, you can say, yes, I am Japanese, but you are French, for example, right?